So what I meant to say was National Organization for Women now has endorsed me. All of the local labor unions has endorsed
Local
me.
332?
Yes, Local 332. Hey, Ryan, what's up?
Ryan Boyer, 330. We love 332.
So one of the other things that I wanted to add that just warms my heart whenever I think of this happening is that I will be the first hijabi in the State House.
Excellent.
Now there are some other Muslims within the State House of Pennsylvania, correct?
Males.
You're going to be the only female.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Proud.
How about your family? How do they feel about that?
My family's very proud about that. I mean, just that image for our daughters and just for Muslims in general, and we need to have more inclusion, right? So I know that it is not going to be too cool for some people up there, but guess what the difference is? When they meet me, that's going to be the difference.
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, to look at you from the outward, we can tell you're a Muslim. But they don't know what your intentions are. But once they see what you're all about, what you've been through. And I, shout out to you if I never ever told you. I love you for, just taking, the loss of your son and being able to turn that around and to be able to make the Charles Foundation what it is, known across this tri-state, probably known across this country, I'm sure. Because you're always being invited to go speak somewhere and you're always receiving, accolades and awards. And, I applaud you for what you do. Your wounded heart, if I can say that, you're putting it to work. And if I can use this phrase, I was watching a TV show and someone had died and they needed the heart that was in that child for somebody else to live. If we can say that, your son was taken away, you have taken his heart and you've been able to spread it throughout the community, and you are being able to help people, because I know that you want gun laws here in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, and I know you're going to do everything under your power, because that's something that's very, very close and dear to you rather. So. Yeah.
And I couldn't have said it 8 years ago, but I understand, and I never asked why. When my son, because I knew that was an answer I would never get. And I knew that in fact, when my son was in surgery, I didn't pray for my son to live. I prayed for the hands that were working on my son, and I prayed that whatever God's will was, that I could accept it and that I could live with it.
Yes.
Right? So I understand why my son. I do, because he put this fire in my belly and he put this work in my heart, and all I care about is somebody else not having to go through this, another family to not be broken. My daughter lives with survivor's remorse because she blames herself just because her brother came to get her. So I don't want another family to have to experience this, and they have over and over and over, and I'm showing up at hospitals and I'm paying for janazas, and it has to stop. And when my son lay cold and dead on that table, I promised him I would do everything in my power until I took my last breath.
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it, and you're doing it, and you're doing it, and it's just it's sad, but everything happens in life for a reason. Everything happens. God doesn't put a burden on us that we can't bear. But you've been able to take the tragic thing, the loss of your son, and you've been able to do something really great. And I can't wait till you get to Harrisburg and you help to create bills that will control the guns. Because the problem isn't so much the young brothers with the guns. Yes, they need jobs, they need education, they need trade school, we need to find a way how they can go to college. The guns are here. And something so simple as families, I know of a family who was able to get their hands on a gun. The child got the gun and shot his brother. Now, thank God he didn't kill him or anything, but it hurt him. Yeah. So there needs to be some type of laws for having your gun in the home that need to be
implemented. And now they have a smart gun system. So, there's this thing with smart gun where you can have finger recognition.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You seen that, Troy?
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff we can do. And the saddest part for me is that all of these illegal guns, we'll probably never get most of them off the streets. I don't care how many gun buybacks we do, we'll probably won't get them. But we can stop the flow of more.
Definitely.
Count me in.
Definitely count you in. And another thing we need to do, we need to be able to help these young men and young women, because everybody's not going to go to college.
That's right.
You know, a lot of them going to go to trade schools. We got to figure out a way how we can make it affordable for them to go to trade school.
So I've been collecting carrots since I've been in the DA's office, and I have programs. So if somebody needs a resource for a young person to help them, and my husband looks at me like I got two heads when I do this, here is my number.
Is this your assistant number or your
This is my
your
personal cell phone number.
Okay, all
my
right.
personal cell phone number is on the internet.
Okay.
I'm touchable, and I will remain touchable.
There you go.
So my personal number, it will not change. I've had the same number for 15 years. My number is 215-868-9543. If you need a resource for a young person, if they want help, if they want to go to trade school, I have a program that I work with. Some young brothers that do some great work. The Philadelphia Technical Training Institute at the Old Berean Center on Girard Avenue, doing amazing work. These young people are leaving with only $5,000 in student loans, leaving making $25 an hour, 80% placement rate. So we can plug people into things.
Yes.
Drug treatment, call us. Mental health, call us.
Because that was one of your professions that you were doing before. You were an entrepreneur.
Yes, I am an entrepreneur. I am also 25 years in recovery. A lot of people don't recognize that. So my husband and I are both in recovery. We've helped thousands and thousands of people find their way to recovery.
Well, after you win and become state rep, I'm going to invite you back again because I'm going to do a show a little later on in the year. We're going to talk about drug addiction and people getting clean and different resources. That's something that we don't talk about.
In our community, we need to have those conversations.
We need to have these conversations. Alcohol treatment, drug treatment. Well, I thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
and
you.
I don't know how to encourage the voters to go out anymore. The date is Tuesday, March the 12th. This is a special election.
Yes.
Special election. Who will be running up against you?
Okay, so first of all, let me say, if you live in the 190th, if you don't know if you live in the 190th, it's from City Line Avenue to Larchwood Street, a portion of East Falls, up the 33rd Street corridor around the park. It's a very, very large district. On the west side, it's very gerrymandered, but it goes over like to almost 60th Street around Arch.
Okay.
And on the east side, it covers a portion of University of Pennsylvania, then comes back in to 45th and Larchwood. So it's a very, very large district. It's a melting pot. So there are two independents and a Republican in my race. One of the independents is running a very, very aggressive race, and of course I wasn't running, so he's been out there a little over 2 months more than me, touching people. So I'm just running.
That's right.
I'm grinding. So when I'm in it to win it.
There you go.
I'm not taking it for granted. No, he's an independent.
He's independent.
Yeah, so I'm
African American.
African American, and being backed by the former state representative who held the seat. So I am not taking it for granted because I am the Dem pick. I am running a race.
Yes. Yes. Run, sister, run.
March 12th, vote Democrat.
You got to run like a free slave that just got off the plantation. No, I'm serious.
I'm listening.
You got to run with the ant, man. She got to run, and when she runs, she call upon God first.
That's
Yes.
And run with the ancestors.
That's right.
And be obedient to the path they lead.
That's right. That's right. Well, we pray and we hope that you win, sister, because I've known you for over 25 years, and I know that you are the person that can definitely make a great, significant change in the 190th district.
Thank you. Love you, Jihad.
Love you too. We hope to have you back. We hope to have you back.
Anytime.
Give out your telephone number one more time.
Number's 215-868-9543.
How's your daughter? I know your daughter's in college. She just graduated.
Oh, please do not ask me. So my daughter, Danae, who, I'm not going to say her age, but she's me 2.0. She is about to graduate the University of Maryland with her PhD in sociology.
Wow.
She travels the country teaching women's studies and empowering women.
Love that young sister. Love that queen.
She is the
Love her.
bomb.
Love her.
Wow, congratulations.
She comes from a good family.
Yeah.
And I was there. I helped out. You know what I mean?
You did.
What did you do, Jay? What?
He helped mentor my
I
sons.
did something, man.
He
Oh,
did.
her sons, man. Her sons, man.
He knows my
Charles
children.
and all his sons.
Dante.
Listen.
You
got
helped
a
him
little-
out there.
He got a little Patrick Gray right
Yeah.
here.
Oh, he's
He was a little
gorgeous.
kid. He had. I just saw him on a picture the other day. He had his tuxedo on.
Okay.
I don't know
It's
where they're coming from.
gorgeous.
Well, my sister, I wish you nothing but the best, and we pray that you win. And we want to definitely have you back later on. So may God bless you to win this race and do good for our community, like you already been doing good with everything else that you touch.
I mean, thank you.
All right. You're listening and watching Acres of Diamonds. We're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to be with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar is in the house. We're going to have him, y'all. Stay with us. We'll be right back, family. All right. Coming back with Dr. Umar.
Oh my goodness.
Good luck, Queen. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
You too now.
Me too.
Well, I'll talk to you soon. Inshallah. Get back and get ready for this next video. No, thank you for coming.
I should have got a good picture of it.
All right, phase two. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to talk about the school. We're going to talk about why they chose Delaware for the school and what we got to do with the school. If you want to touch on anything that happened over this weekend with black folks, you're more than welcome. You want to touch on Spike Lee? Let's talk about it. This is free realm. I
You got
titled.
three calls.
Yeah, they're probably for him too. I titled this conversation with you to be entitled "A Conversation with Dr. Umar." The truth. What did I say? The truth and nothing but the truth.
You ready?
Yeah, like the prophet loved Khadijah. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back. This is the part of the show where I get to not be so loose. I get to
Spread your wings.
spread my wings and fly. Telephone number to call us in the studio is 215-490-9832. That's 215-490-9832. You can catch us on timeforeawakening.com. You can catch us on blacktalkradionnetwork.com. You can catch us on ourradionetwork.com. Or you can go to the app and hit and click Time for an Awakening Radio. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, good evening. Dr. Umar Johnson, his third appearance, not once, not twice, but 3 times he is here. And I want you to call us up, 215-490-9832. We're talking about a little bit of everything this evening with our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, since he's last been here, Troy,
Right.
he made the major announcement. We was at work, and I said, Troy, you said what? I said, Dr. Umar made the announcement. You said, what announcement? He got our sweatshirts? I said, no, he ain't got our sweatshirt,
Right.
but he made the announcement about the school.
That's
Where
right.
is it? I said, we got to listen. So he was listening. I was on Instagram. He got about 30,000 people watching at the same time, and he mentioned that the school will be in Delaware.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm hyped like him. Delaware is the location where the school will be. So we welcome our brother back with us for the third time, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Peace and black power. Glad to be back. Can you hear me clearly there?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
We got
Good
you,
to be
brother.
back, fellas.
First of all, I want to say congratulations. You pulled
Thank
it
you.
off, brother. You did what many thought that you could not do. They lied on you. They said you took the money. They said you were doing all kind of crazy things, but you did it, brother.
Yes, sir.
You did it.
Yes,
By
sir.
the
Praise
help
be
of
to the
God
Most High. Yes, sir. And the ancestors.
The ancestors,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
You did it. Now, first of all, I just want to say to you, what made you choose Delaware, man?
I would say that I did not choose Delaware. Delaware chose me. I had always thought for several years during this fundraising process that the school would be in Detroit. I really thought Detroit was the location because Detroit had so many schools that were available. And my number one pick was actually in Detroit, but we could not afford it. And then Chicago, I thought would also be a likely landing spot because of the amount of available buildings there. And we went all over the country. I was up in New York. I was in Jersey, Philadelphia at one point, Ohio, Virginia, which was the original first school, St. Paul's College. Now, the story of how we got the Delaware school is very spiritual, very spiritual. August the 21st of 2017, we celebrated the Nat Turner total solar eclipse. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. We did that down in Nat Turner land. As you know, I'm born on that date, August 21st. It's very significant for me. I believe Nat Turner is a spirit god of mine for a lot of reasons. Anyhow, following the Nat Turner eclipse celebration, August 21st of 2017, I was checking LoopNet. And I always check LoopNet periodically for new schools. That's what I've been doing for almost 5 years. And the school popped up that said Wilmington, Delaware. And it looked extremely modern. So I contacted the realtor. It was a white male. He arranged for me to walk through the school, and I loved it. 4 buildings, 2 of them which were schools, the third one a gym, a fourth one another building. And I said, I want this. This is it. Because there was nothing else on the block. Wilmington is a predominantly black city, small, close enough to Philly, but still yet has its own separate identity. But they wanted 1.2 million. All we had was 750K. And at that point, we had a little less than 750K because that was a year and a half ago. I refused to give up on it. There was a school in Atlanta that I was going to jump on. But then some domestic situations required that I stay in Philadelphia and not relocate. So I said, I can't do Atlanta. I got to stay close. Where is this going to happen at? And so I kept on tugging at the owners, tugging at the realtor. 18 months later, by the grace of God, because we did not have $1 million to buy this school, they were finally willing to throw in the towel, concede, and sell it to me for what we had. So we shouldn't even have that school. We did not have the money for it, but through the grace of God, it came to us. And I believe, going back to Nat Turner, that's why I'm wearing a hoodie today.
I'm waiting on mine, too.
I believe that the Nat Turner Army, and y'all going to get y'all hoodie next time. I got you. You're going to get that Nat Turner hoodie. I got you. In fact, I might have had one for you. I might have had a large, but I got you. So, again, Nat Turner. I believe it was the energy of Nat Turner and the Nat Turner Army. And then I went to Cuba that Sunday to get initiated into E5. My paternal grandfather was Cuban. So I went to Cuba for the first time, received my E5 initiation. So between 2 very spiritual events, the Nat Turner total solar eclipse of 2017 and my first visit to Cuba where I was initiated into E5, between those 2 dates, I got a chance to see the school. 18 months later, we end up with that very school. So I believe it was divine design the entire time. And I'm going to give you one more little spiritual nuance. I was coming from Newark, New Jersey, visiting a school for sale in Newark. When I came back, I went to the movies because I'm a movie buff. What's the movie starring Ice Cube's son and who else is in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
They rob banks.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. What's the movie with Ice Cube's son and 50 Cent? Ice Cube's son and 50 Cent. Anyhow, I went to the movies to go and see that movie, right? I just came from looking at a Newark, New Jersey school. I'm sitting in the movie theater, right? And I'm brainstorming schools. Where are we going to get this school at? We don't have enough money. And guess what pops up on the screen? If you watch the movie, you'll see this. There's a scene early on
That shows the school.
that shows the city. It says Wilmington, California. And I started texting some of my friends and I said, I'm sitting in the theater and Wilmington just popped up on the screen in the movie. And I got a little chill, right? That was about a year ago. Guess what? That was a spiritual premonition. It was Wilmington. I just needed to sit tight and let God and the ancestors work it out because it had already been decided before I knew it. So this Thursday, I'm going to be hosting a Black family meeting in Wilmington, Delaware, to introduce myself to brothers and sisters in that town. Because although Wilmington is only 20 minutes from Philadelphia, of all the states in this country, I've spent the least amount of time in Wilmington. Even though it's next door, I'm always in Jersey. I'm always in Maryland. I'm always in D.C. I just came back from New York, sold out lecture in the Bronx. I was in Connecticut this past Sunday, jam-packed. But I rarely go to Delaware. I've only done 2 events in Delaware, so they need to learn me from me, not from YouTube. So it's just going to be a meet and greet. I'm going to tell them what my plans are, take some questions, and then we'll take it from there. But I am here to proclaim that now that we have the school, Wilmington, Delaware has just become for black people what Washington, D.C. already is for white folks. And that's the capital of black America. In fact, I'm already calling it Wilmington, D.C. But it don't stand for District of Columbia. It stands for District of Black Consciousness. Wilmington, D.C.
Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves. When you watch Den of Thieves, you're going to see Wilmington pop up in the corner.
Okay.
It sent chills. And that was it. That was the message right there the whole time. I just didn't know. 18 months it took us to get it.
Sister Melanie is on Facebook
Sure.
line, and she wants to know what are the grades that you were offered for the school, and do you have agriculture?
Okay. Great question. The grades, my personal intention is to start with 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And the reason I want to strategically start with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade is those are the grades when our children begin to experience psychological dropout. See, physical dropout starts in the 9th grade. Psychological dropout starts in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's when they start disconnecting and de-identifying because of the way they're treated. The special ed, the Ritalin, the ADHD, the abusive treatment by white teachers, right? I want to do 3rd, 4th, and 5th. However, once the school has been restored and we start having open houses for parents and interest meetings, if I find out that we have more parents who are interested in the 6th grade or the 1st grade or kindergarten, then I will shift the grades that we're going to start with. So I have my plan, but that's a solved plan. I have to see where the interest is coming from. And the beauty of Wilmington, Delaware, where it's situated on the Eastern Seaboard, it touches Pennsylvania. It touches Maryland. And it's a hop, skip, and a jump from New Jersey. So in keeping with my Pan-Africanist foundation, not only will boys from Delaware be able to go to the school, boys from New Jersey, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, we will be able to educate African boys from 4 different states. Now, because we're blessed with 2 school buildings, not one, we got 2, right across the street from each other. One is the Frederick Douglass building, that's the big one. The smaller one is the Marcus Garvey building. As you know, at some point in time, we're going to bring the girls into the school, right? We won't start with the girls. I want to be clear about that. First year or 2 will be nothing but boys. But because we have an adjacent school right across the street, we may bring the girls in a lot sooner than I originally planned. Because one of the blessings of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is space. If I only had the Frederick Douglass building, and I didn't get the other 3 across the street, it's still a win-win. Because in that building, you have a state-of-the-art gymnasium. We could put over 1,000 people in the gym alone. We have 16 classrooms. We have a separate lunchroom, a separate computer lab. Even without the 3 extra buildings, we will be set with the Frederick Douglass building. Now you bring the Marcus Garvey building in it. That's an extra 8 to 12 classes. Then you bring the second gym into it, which is going to be the community center. But I'm also thinking about having that refitted and turning that into my Black Information and Cultural Cafe Express, which will be 3 floors. 1 floor, a bookstore. Another floor, a vegan and vegetarian cafe where you can get your Marcus Garvey smoothie or your Frederick Douglass hoagie or your Nat Turner salad or your Harriet Tubman juice. And then the top floor will be a place where you can socialize and just relax and maybe put a roof on top where people can go up top, when the weather is good, and just catch some of the rays of Amen Ra, the sun.
So let me ask you this. I'm hearing everything that you're talking about doing, and it's not a school that's going to be
Independent.
Independent.
Yes.
So, how do you go about getting the money? Are you going to have more fundraising?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be people can make donations?
Well,
will there be a tuition connected to it?
there will definitely be a tuition.
Okay.
Hands down. It will definitely be a tuition. I hope, though, at some future point in time, 20 years out, minimally, because we have to be realistic, I would like to have an endowment set up like the universities and white private schools do, where we'll have enough money made where we can pay for all the kids to go for free, and we simply just draw a lottery to take that load off of the parents, because most of our kids are raised by who? Single parent black mothers. Single parent black women are the ones raising our babies. You understand? So I want to ease as much as possible the financial burden they will incur by trying to educate their children at our school. I'm also not giving up on our celebrities, because although we know they're scared of revolution, they might feel comfortable sponsoring a couple children to go to the school, as well as black businesses, black business owners, black churches. Because once this school opened up, nobody would have seen nothing like what we got. So a lot of parents are going to be shaking at these community leaders saying, yo, listen, my boy need Dr. Umar. He don't need special ed. He don't need ADHD. He don't need a discipline school. He needs FDMG. Not ADHD, FDMG. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So with that, being said, there are some loans on the table. Should I like to exercise that option? But it's the last option, because that's economic slavery. As you know, there's really no controls on venture capital loans. When you take out a loan for a business, that interest, they can charge you whatever they want. There's very little control on venture capital loans, which means if I take out $1 million or $2 million loan, by the time I pay that interest back, I could have bought 20 FDMGs. It simply isn't worth it. The beauty of where we are right now, Brother Jahid, is the fact that we own the building flat out. Ain't no mortgage, you understand me? Ain't no nothing. We own, it's ours. It is owned by black people 100%. It is ours. Now, speaking of tuition, most independent schools have to charge so much because they still have a mortgage on the property. We don't have a mortgage on the property. So we don't even have to factor in the mortgage and coming up with the tuition. Okay? We would just have to worry about maintenance and restoration. And right now we're in phase 2. Phase 1 was acquisition, buying the school. We got it. Phase 2 is restoration, bringing it back up to code. And then phase 3 is operation. Let's talk about restoration. This school was built with $13 million. This is a $13 million school. The only reason why we have to restore it is because the previous owners didn't have, for whatever reason, a sufficient enough security system on the building that would have prevent vandals from getting in and stripping the piping of its copper. So as a result of that, a lot of damage was done for a couple petty dollars worth of copper, you see. But then let's look at the flip side. Had they not broken in and vandalized that school,
You wouldn't have it.
I wouldn't have it. Because they would have been able to sell that thing for $7 million easy if it had not been destroyed. The only reason why we got that school is because of the vandalism. But guess what? Even with the vandalism, it's a beautiful school. We ain't got to worry about lead paint. We ain't got to worry about asbestos because it's not an old building. Remember, it just closed down 3 years ago when the charter school that occupied it lost their charter. So this is a blessing. Predominantly black school. The whole block is ours. There's a boys and girls club right in back. We can rent their pool because we're going to have a swim team. What independent black school has a swim team? No Speedos. No Speedos. You understand? And then we have a large community park right across the street.
They provide speed.
Okay? Now,
No?
what is the next goal?
Okay.
There's no way we're going to have the school open for August 21st, 2019. That's only 6 months from now.
Right.
That means you got to restore and prepare in 6 months. Nah.
Not gonna happen.
What I would like to do is push the start date back to August 21st of 2020, which is the 100th anniversary of Marcus Garvey's first international convention. And it's the 100th anniversary of the red, black, and green flag.
Really?
Oh, yes. So we want to start school on the centennial of the RBG. But restoration, that's operation. Get back to restoration. We have 6 months between this Friday, March the 1st, and August the 1st. What I would like to see happen is raise enough money between March the 1st and August the 1st, 6 months, to fully restore all 4 buildings, and then have our quadricentennial 400-year celebration, 1619 to 2019, also including on top of the 400-year quadricentennial celebration. We celebrate Nat Turner, August 21st. We celebrate the Haitian Revolution, August 21st. We celebrate George Jackson's prison war, August 21st. And of course, the birth of the Prince of Pan-Africanism, August the 21st. I want to have a week-long celebration from August 20th to August 25th. Seminars, workshops, think tanks, food, vendors, entertainment, competitions, swimming in the Boys and Girls Club, meditation, Lamaze, seminars for married couples, seminars for single people, seminars for special ed parents. I want that to be the 400-year celebration this August 21st, 2019. That's what we're working towards. So we want all your listeners to donate as much as you can. Check or money order, payable to the FDMG Academy. And we have a new P.O. box now because we in Delaware. You can still send to the Philadelphia one. But the new P.O. box is 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. I repeat, mail your check or money orders payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809.
Yeah, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the phone line. We got some callers that's been waiting very patiently.
Sure.
Good evening and welcome to the show. You're on with Dr. Umar Johnson. Good evening, caller. Caller, you're there. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Good, brother.
I have a question to ask Dr. Umar. I follow school plans and it was a wild ride, and I myself didn't have doubt as well. I didn't contribute to school because from the beginning I didn't understand like the plan. I church raise money and that's pretty much it. So I let it stay up out of it and I closely watched it because even if you don't donate when it comes time to physical labor or anything that may be done, I'm there for that. And I guess we're at year 4 now. Just hearing the plan now that he's required of school and listening to his broadcast, and, with no disrespect, but it's like I'm hearing a whole lot of like church type, religious type glorification before anything happens. You guys sitting here hosting the show, you guys know none of this stuff is going to happen within 6 months. So it's not going to happen within even 5 years. It's like everybody sitting here acting like this is going to happen. The Marcus Garvey Center is going to be right here. The Rosa Parks. This is all. It's almost like, are y'all serious? You can't possibly be serious on this show. You think that these things are going to happen even within 5 years from now?
Well, why can't it happen, brother? Tell me that. I'm just asking you from your opinion. I'd like to know from your opinion why you think it can't happen.
Okay, here's why.
Okay.
The idea is perfect. Is Dr. Umar the man for the job? Absolutely. It's not a personal attack. Is he the best man for the job? Absolutely, positively. But will this plan right here work? You guys know it won't. How can this work if it took this long to raise that little bit of money? How are these grandiose ideas of this rec center, this over here, this over there? How are any of these things logically going to happen? You look on your timeline right now, you got all kinds of black people. I bet you all the Dr. Umar supporters have been showing on Facebook today some man in a dress, Jennifer Hudson's toes, and anything on
Well, let's do this. Let's be fair to Dr. Umar because this is his plan. This is his school. I'm just a #1 supporter of my brother because I love him and I love the concept and the thought and the idea of what he wants to do as far as helping our children.
I would say to that, and I respect the brother's position. It's sad that we can have more faith in negativity and failure than we can have in success and in optimism. But once upon a time, there were people who thought slavery was impossible to end, and it ended. There were people who told Dr. King that he would never be able to integrate America, and it happened. There were people who told us all types of things that would be impossible, and yet black people are people who have been able to overcome and dominate against every odd put against us. But guess what? Building a school, in my opinion, does not fall amongst the impossibilities. There are schools all across this country, independent schools in every state. So why is it such a far-fetched dream, as you say, brother, for us to give a school for black boys so they can stop being victimized by special ed, so they can stop being emotionally abused by white women, so they can stop being doped up with the Ritalin, the Adderall, the Concerta, the Metadate? Why is it that whenever we decide to do something for us without the white man's participation, all of a sudden it becomes a dreamy, churchical type of a vision? Brother, I don't understand that.
And it's
People,
usually by us. I don't mean
and
to
it's
cut you off,
always by
but
us.
It's usually by us. And even if it's something that's impossible to any of us, like this man has a dream that's all he talks about. You know what I mean? And just for like, what can we do to make it happen?
Yes.
As a people, what can you do? Even you as a naysayer, what can you do? You got friends, you got.
We should go to somebody else. I don't want to get his brother too much time, y'all.
Come on, brother.
He's
Tell me,
negative.
No.
That's where we lose great ideas at, because I'm going to be one of the ones who stands on here and be forthcoming right with this.
No, we respect your opinion.
That's what.
And he gave his opinion.
It doesn't feel like one.
Tell us, brother. Tell us how, in 30 seconds, tell us how you feel, though, financially, that this brother can achieve what it is that he's trying to achieve.
You ask me how can I help him achieve it?
No,
No,
tell
what
him,
does he need to
what
do?
does he need to do?
This is what he needs to do. I called into another radio show a few years ago, and I asked Dr. Umar about the same thing about his plan.
Mhm.
When he claims about he would not purchase the building outright for $2 million. If he had, he would let the bank purchase it, and there he would take out a loan for it, and he would not have to do it at full capacity. And when he told me that, it made absolutely no sense. Maybe because I'm looking at this from a logical perspective, a business perspective, that you guys are having trouble grasping it.
Okay.
All right, can we move on?
All right.
Can we
But
please
listen,
move on?
But listen.
Can we please move on?
Listen. What we going to do?
Jahid,
Dr.
move on, man.
Umar
Stop
will give you his
feeding this
number,
guy.
and you'll-
I ain't giving him
you'll
shit. He a coon. Fuck him. Excuse my French, princess.
Next.
How you gonna sit up there and tell me you ain't donate, but yet we spending $2 billion on Air Jordan every year? Well, hold on. We spending $2 billion on Air Jordan every year. We giving a Chinese corner store how much money? We spending $4 billion on liquor. Black women $16 million on hair, and you can't give $20 to try to save black boys. You a goddamn coon. Next caller.
Next.
I ain't got time for that. Next.
Caller, you're on there. Call.
Good evening and welcome to the show. You're on with Dr. Umar.
Caller, you're on.
Yes, hello, Dr. Umar. My name is Abdul from Brooklyn, New York.
Peace.
Brooklyn
Peace and
in the
love.
house.
Yes, I was at your event in the Bronx. Very great event.
Thank you.
Congratulations with everything and all your success. I just have 2 points. I won't take up a lot of your time. I'll be very quick. The first thing I want to talk to just to show you guys something about R. Kelly, but obviously there's another major news going on in the deficit of Robert Kraft by the Patriots. And I only want to bring this up for certain reasons, because people are saying that, Kraft got caught with Florida Spartan and he deserves it. Patriot fans saying, they're after him because it was Super Bowl. But I find it funny or scary that a few days before the Super Bowl, or Super Bowl media week, a guy, I think from Philadelphia, named Meek Mill, asked Robert Kraft to visit him in prison. And after Kraft visited him, Kraft was asking how could this guy in prison when he could just be out there and he could, pay taxes because of how rich he is. And Kraft was even going so far to want to lead the charge of people unnecessarily doing time in prison. So to me, that's kind of fishy. Another thing I want to ask you about is we got another candidate running for president named Bernie Sanders. Your thoughts on him? It seems like to me he's the only one proactively wanted to, talk to black people. When he
Okay.
He's the one, some people think it's publicity stunt, but for him to at least go down there, when no candidate goes to Brownsville, I just want to know your thoughts on those two things.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations, Fred.
Thank you. As far as the Robert Kraft situation goes, me personally, I think there's more to this story than what we've been told. There's no way a white man with that power, a billionaire, there's no way that this type of behavior makes it to the major media with the power and clout and connections that he. White folk of his stature, they don't get in trouble for things like this. Okay? There are sex rings, child sex rings, adult human trafficking rings in Hollywood. The music industry has them. They are everyday parts of the culture of entertainment and sports. It's every day. There's no way that Robert Kraft gets busted for this unless someone within the white power structure wanted him busted. Could it be because he just joined in with Meek Mill and Jay-Z to try to fight against the criminal justice laws in this country? Could this be a way of sitting him down or threatening him to not get involved with the movement by Jay-Z and Meek Mill? Not that I really consider that a very serious grassroots movement, because I don't. But it is something that is progressive, and I applaud both rappers for doing something about it. And Jay-Z has done a lot of progressive things, and I see Meek coming along as well. But yet and still, it could have something to do with that. I think it has something to do with something much greater that we don't even know about. I believe Mr. Kraft may have offended someone inadvertently. Okay, and this is how they're paying him back. It could have also had something to do with the fact that the Patriots won 6 rings and people are just tired of it. It could have been jealousy, because white folks have jealousy too. They just don't let their jealousy get in the way of white power. Black people let their jealousy get in the way of black power. We won't know until it's revealed exactly what brought this on. But you're not going to tell me that this was something that was brought about by regular citizens walking down the street and seeing human trafficking take place, and they just decided to expose it. Because at the end of the day, how does he know the persons working on him in that massage parlor were the victims of a human sex trafficking ring? How would he know that? He would know it if he's a part of it, yes. But if he was not a part of a human sex trafficking ring, how would he know that? And how could he be held accountable for that? And I'm definitely not a Robert Kraft apologist. He's a white supremacist like the rest of them. I'm just simply saying that from what I know with my political IQ, there's more to this. And it's someone behind this with a lot more power than we have. That's number one. As far as Bernie Sanders go, I don't believe Bernie Sanders will be president of the United States for one simple reason. He does not have the charisma, the charm, and the appeal that presidents need. You have to look presidential to be a president. Barack Obama had the oratory. Bill Clinton had the charisma. George W. Bush had the unapologetic attitude. There's something that makes you unique when you become president, and it's normally a combination of oratory, charisma, and style. All due respect to Mr. Sanders, he looks like the guy that blows up the basketball games before the championship match. He looks like the guy that cleans the windows. He looks like the bus driver. There's nothing about Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, that looks presidential. And the reason that has to be important is you have to be able to keep the faith of the people. You see, Barack Obama was able to keep the faith of the people. George W. Bush was able to keep the faith of the people. Charisma is an attractive power that you possess. How do preachers get away with hustling black folks every Sunday? Because they are so charismatic, they can dazzle you with their words and with their speeches. I don't see Bernie Sanders being able to hypnotize Americans long enough in order to be hoodwinked.
He looks like somebody's uncle.
Yes.
Uncle Bernie.
Uncle,
Yes.
Even like the suits that he wears.
Yeah, he's not.
It's not that.
He don't have the it factor, and you need the it factor if you're going to be president of the United States.
What factor does Trump have?
Trump is like Bush. They're unapologetic in their opinions.
Okay.
He's very.
Very unapologetic. That's their magnetism. Exactly. They say what poor, broke white folks are thinking. Donald Trump is the first president in American history as a billionaire to actually carry the poor white vote. I'll be honest with you. If a white parent applied for admission for their child in an effort to protect the safety of my students and the integrity of my school, I am not against a handful of white students being at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. In fact, I can almost guarantee you that there will be a white staff member or two as a politically strategic move in order to make sure that my children are not marginalized or in any way receive any of the kickback that was intended for me. You know, I want to make sure we don't get cheated at the football games. I want to make sure the restaurant doesn't close down all of a sudden when we get off the bus to go and eat. And in order to do that, you're going to need a white teacher or two. They're going to need to see a white student or two. So I'm not opposed to a couple of students or a couple of white folk being employed at the school. Strategically, it's a necessity in a predominantly white society.
You still there, Carl? You got another question?
Okay, so it's necessary, but you think you won't be able to accomplish that without white allies? Can you not accomplish those same goals with solely just black folks?
Well, I'm in a
Man of Malcolm X and his teaching, and he defined segregation from separation, and I thought he was going with separation.
I don't believe in separation. Black people are already separated, so I don't need to advocate that. Okay, we're separated politically, we're separated economically, we're separated socially, we're already separated. The problem is we are separate and powerless. I am for nationalism, which means the independent creation of a power base politically and economically so that black people can thrive upon. It doesn't matter whether you live next door to white folks or not. What matters is whether or not you have your own political power, your own economic power, your own schools, your own supermarkets, your own hospitals, your own import and export. What's important to me is nationalism and independence, not separation. With that being said, the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy is in a predominantly black city, in a predominantly black neighborhood, on a block that is exclusively occupied with FDMG campus buildings. So unfortunately, I don't share your same concerns and reservations. I think we'll be fine.
Thank you. We're going to go back to the phone line. I believe we have someone calling from Los Angeles.
Not Delaware.
Huh?
Delaware.
Delaware in the house. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
This is Melody. Assalamualaikum.
Hey, wait, Sinai, my sister. How are you?
I'm so excited. The only thing I want to know is how we can help on Thursday because I want to get some people to physically come to this meet and greet. And I'm so excited about it.
Thank you, sister. Yes, thank you, sister. I appreciate the support. What I want to do is I want to give you my cell number, and I want you to text me, and I'm going to text you the information. Are you ready for my cell number?
Yeah, you can go ahead and get to him.
215-989-9858. I repeat, 215-989-9858. This Thursday, doors open up at 6 p.m. for a 7 to 9 p.m. Black Delaware family meeting, which is going to consist of a brief overview by me, Dr. Umar Johnson, the founder, CEO, and principal of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And then I will entertain questions from our brothers and sisters in Delaware. You don't have to live in Wilmington because we are starting a Black Delaware movement. As I said, Delaware is the new capital of Black America. Where I go, so goes the consciousness. Okay? So we're going to have a meeting with Delaware. We need to start organizing. I want to meet the brothers and sisters there. It is part of African custom, and it is part of African etiquette that whenever you move into a new village, it is your responsibility to introduce yourself to the brothers and sisters in that village so that they can know who you are, understand what you are about, and so that they can determine how they can help the movement. Now, I want to say this. For those who want to work at the school, they should email their resumes to fdmgresumes@gmail.com. I repeat, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. If you want to work at the school, if you want to help prepare the school for its opening, meaning that you have a skill that I can potentially put to use as we restore the 4 campus buildings. You are a licensed electrician, or you are a licensed plumber, or you are a licensed roofer, or you are a licensed carpenter, or you are a licensed sprinkler system installer. Any of those systems, if you have an expertise in those systems, please, you can text me or email me, okay, and we can determine whether or not there's a place for you in the restoration process of the school. I have had brothers and sisters reaching out, but you need to screen everybody because people will lie and say that they have licenses they don't have. Let's be clear. Everything I do is going to be watched. It's going to be scrutinized. And whenever we make repairs in this school, we have to go to City Hall and pull the certifications in order to make the modifications. If you don't have the paperwork, you won't be able to help me. Currently, right now, for those of you who are visual artists, painters, and graphic artists, I am soliciting right now, okay, designs for the 4 campus buildings. I want a powerful, attractive, mesmerizing exterior presentation for FDMG. So for those of you who design, take a look at the pictures of the school on my social network pages, or you can drive past the school yourself and come up with a funky, I need a funky design that no school has ever had, using African symbols, using our ancestors, and using the red, black, and green. I'm looking for something funky for the exterior building, something powerful and attractive to give our school that gloss, because it's already a beautiful school, but now we want to give it that gloss. So anybody who's interested in doing that, please go ahead and send that on into me. But I'm looking forward to meeting my Delaware family Thursday, sister. Make sure you text me for the information.
Okay, let's go back to the phone line. We have a caller that's calling all the way from Texas. Texas is in the house. Good evening.
Sir, hello. Hello.
Hello, brother.
Yes, sir. How you doing? My name is Chris from Houston.
Hey, Chris from Houston. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Hello. How you doing, Dr. Umar?
Peace and love, brother Chris.
Yes, sir. I just want to ask you 2 quick questions real quick. I want to get your thoughts on the ADOS movement and the foundational Black American movement. I've been following you for a minute, and I know you guys kind of share some of the same talking points, like on the being on these groups. Basically, like being on these groups that nobody's there for us. Nobody's there to fear for us by ourselves in a situation. I want to get your thoughts on that. And about on the and also because I know. Well, can I get your thoughts on that? Basically, I'm
Okay.
I want to get your thoughts on that on the ABS.
The ABS and the what movement?
Okay, for the first one,
Okay.
Foundational Black American movement.
yes, I got it.
And everything about
Okay.
how, you know what I'm saying, they don't want, Umar, he said what he got some of the same talking points about some of the same things.
Okay.
About, how we stand by ourselves in the situation.
Okay, let me answer, black man. Let me answer. Let me answer. I got the question. Let me answer. Okay, as far as the foundational movement, I don't know nothing about that. As far as the ADOS, the American Descendants of Slavery, I respect it. I do not support it, and I do not agree with it. I am a Pan-Africanist, and that movement violates 3 core principles of Pan-Africanism. Number 1 is identity. We are one African people. We are not multiples of different African groups. We are one human family. Okay, so identity is very, very important for Pan-Africanists. And for any organization that calls itself American but refuses to call itself African is an organization I cannot rock with. That's number 1. Number 2, central to Pan-African thought and ideology, one of our core principles is that white supremacy must be overthrown internationally. It cannot be defeated regionally. You cannot defeat white supremacy regionally. We must all rise up at once. It must be an international concerted effort by the global African family to destroy global white supremacy. Regional black nationalism will not overthrow a global enemy. Number 3, okay, and probably the issue that I take most seriously with regard to the ADOS is the disidentification from our African immigrant brothers and sisters. I'm not disidentifying from nobody. Last time I checked, our Jamaican African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our Cuban African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our American African brothers and sisters were enslaved. We were all enslaved together. We were all brought from Africa together. Why am I going to disidentify from my Jamaican brothers and sisters, my Cuban brothers and sisters, my Black British brothers and sisters, my African brothers and sisters, when we are all being victimized by the exact same oppressor? The Jamaicans were enslaved by the British. The African Americans were enslaved by the British, except for the last 90 years. So why are we separating when we were both enslaved by the same power? So let me get this right. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. We're going to start a fight with them, but we're not going to start a fight with the LBGT who has stolen everything that black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the Mexicans who have stolen everything black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the feminists who have stolen everything black people have fought for. There's about 50 million Mexican immigrants in this country, twice that number of homosexuals, 5 times that number of feminists. But instead of fighting with them, we're going to pick on the lowest group on the totem pole, our own kith and kin, African brothers and sisters. A house divided cannot stand. It's Pan-Africanism or perish. I respect the ADOS movement, but I cannot support it.
All right, okay, let's go to the next caller. We got a caller that's calling in from Los Angeles. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
No, Arizona.
Arizona?
Arizona. Okay. Caller? Are you there?
Yes, Dr. Umar.
Yes, sir.
As an immigrant from Africa, I have a question. I've been following you on radio, and I do admire the work that you're preaching. So as an immigrant that came from Africa, and I've been here for the past 10 years, achieved a doctorate in pharmacy, how can I play a role in pushing the Black agenda?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One of the things that I had not yet mentioned during tonight's conversation is the fact that the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus will also simultaneously serve as international headquarters for Team Pan-African. That is the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. So that school will never, ever be closed. Once the kids go home, we take care of nation building and we take care of Black community business. One of the conferences that we have to have at the FDMG campus is a conference between immigrant Africans, African Americans, Africans from Europe, African Caribbeans, Africans from Asia, African Canadians, and we got to get in the same room at the same time and hammer out a unified platform so no reactionary Negroes can be financed by the oppressor to come in and sow division amongst us. United we stand, divided we fall, brother. So I'm looking forward to seeing you at that African immigrant, African American, African Caribbean, African Canadian, African British Unification Conference. All Africans in America must unite without any respect being paid to the slave master's flag that we all identify with. We are a people above and beyond a nationality. We are a people above and beyond any other identity that we have, and we are going to bring us together as one group once we get FDMG up. Now, let me say this. Yes, there are African immigrants who come to America who coon. But there's African Americans who coon. There's African Caribbeans who coon. There's African Canadians who coon. There's Africans in Africa who coon. There's Africans in England who coon. Coonism is not the exclusive prerogative of any one subsection of the race. We have post-traumatic slavery disease and post-traumatic colonization disorder amongst us all. And nobody within this race of ours, nobody within this great God-given African race has a right to decide who can and who cannot struggle with us. We are one people, and anyone who tries to divide us as a race will be kicked out and pushed to the side. In fact, guess what? We have our own ADOS. We have our own ADOS. We have our own ADOS, and it stands for Africans of the diaspora, organized for success. ADOS that.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the phone line. We got New Jersey and we got Chicago. We're gonna go to New Jersey first. New Jersey, you're up.
Caller, you there from New Jersey? Okay,
Okay, let's go to Chi-Town, Chicago, Windy City. Good evening. Welcome to the show. You're on with Dr. Umar.
Hey, Dr. Umar, it's Media. I just want to first say that know that you are loved, you are appreciated. All of our spirits are with you as you build up the school. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you, sister.
And then,
Give us your name one more time. I'm sorry.
Media.
Okay, thank you.
And my question is, I don't know a lot about the Delaware community, but how big is their population, and how do you as far as young boys go to school, and then how are you going to come about sending out the admissions letters and stuff
Good question.
in August?
Okay. Firstly, Delaware is the second smallest state in these United States. That's number one. Number two, although it is the second smallest state in these United States, Wilmington itself is a predominantly black city. It has a population of just under 60,000 people, mostly Africans. There's very few independent schools that even have 1,000 students in them. I'm saying that to say that I will have no problem filling the school if I needed to rely exclusively on Wilmington. But we won't need to rely exclusively on Wilmington because we will be able to offer the school to our young African boys living in southern Pennsylvania, Chester, in Brookhaven, even Philadelphia. They will be coming in on the bus. And then our young African boys from northern Maryland, they will be coming up on the bus. And then our young African boys in southwestern New Jersey, Camden, and other points south. New Jersey is only a 25-minute ride, Camden, from Wilmington. That's not even including the cities of New Jersey that are even further south of Camden. I'm saying that to say, Queen, that enrollment will not be an issue. I will be very, very, very surprised if I have any trouble at all finding enough students. I think my biggest concern is going to be, how do I turn away black mothers who need their son in this school when we don't have space, because I don't want to overwhelm my teachers and I want to keep class size at a respectable level. So recruitment won't be an issue. I mean, recruiting staff isn't even an issue. I have almost 3,000 resumes, 3,000 just for the job. So bringing the black boys won't be an issue at all. I get emails from black boys every day. I just got a text the other day from a black boy, said he can't wait to come to my school. I anticipate that the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is going to bring a lot of energy, financial, political, and otherwise, to Delaware. I've already been told by at least 200 Africans that they're moving to Delaware, hands down. And not all of them are moving to send their children to the school. Some of them no longer have school-age children. They're moving because they want to get involved directly with Team Pan-African. They're moving because they want to get involved directly with the unapologetically African movement. They're moving to Delaware because they want to become an integral part of the National Independent Black Parent Association. Team Pan-African, the FDMG building, our campus will be the headquarters of black consciousness in the United States of America. We are it. And because we are the mecca of black consciousness, all of black America, I expect, will be swarming to Delaware to be a part of the liberation struggle.
Okay, we're going to go back to the phone line. We have a caller that's calling in from Wisconsin. Good evening. Welcome to the show. You're on with Dr. Umar Johnson.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Baba Oshi in the building. What up, Baba Oshi? I'm hanging in there, black man. You hear these coons, right? Appreciate you. Yeah, they said I snuck in the building. I snuck in the building with a suit on and did a 23-minute video, Baba, and snuck out before the cops came and arrested me for trespassing. I heard another Negro said I bought the campus for $10. So that's $2.50 a building. Okay, even though the campus was a $13 million investment, I bought it for $10. Well, if the campus was only $10, Bob, I think I could have bought that 5 years ago, right? Let's do it. Shoot me the text. You give me the date, Baba. Yes, sir.
Brother Bobby, what's the name of your show? What's the name of it? Hey, I know who this is. Okay. Yes, sir.
Powerful,
Yes, sir.
powerful.
Yes. Yes, yes.
No doubt. Let's do it. Let's do it, Baba.
Keep us posted, man. Keep us posted, though.
Powerful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it, Baba. All right now.
Thank you.
Got
Peace.
you.
Brother Bob on this way to Africa, man. That's what's up.
And by the way, I'm taking a group trip to Ghana. We are going to Ghana. I will have the information Monday. It will be 14 days, 12 days on the ground, 2 days in the air. Elmina Slave Dungeon, Cape Coast Dungeon, Slave River, Prempeh Museum, African naming ceremony by Chief Nana Nketsia V of the Ahanta people. Okay, we will be going to the Adinkra factory, the Kente factory. You will get your African clothes made, African boat ride, 400 years, and we about to go and wake the ancestors up in the dungeon and say, come on back to America with us because it's time to resurrect FDMG. 400 years, it's time to take the chains off. Black power.
So you're going to let the people know when you make the announcement how much it's going to cost and everything?
Yes, the trip will be approximately $4,000 per person.
Okay.
Everything is included. You ain't got to pay for nothing except your spending money.
Okay.
So I hope y'all saving up. Hold on to that tax return. Brothers, pay your child support so you can get your passport because we going back home, baby. 400 years. Ancestors is waiting for us.
We're going back to the phone line. We have Jersey. Jersey on the line. Good evening, Jersey, and welcome to the show.
Thank God. My apologies. I had myself on mute a little earlier. Great talk, Dr. Umar. How are you?
Peace and blessings, black man.
So I have two questions for you, sir. First is, now that you've acquired the school and I know you have a lot of work to do, how do we fight whenever black folks like us, African folks like us, acquire assets and whatnot in this country? How do we fight against eminent domain? How do we protect ourselves from that so we can keep our agenda going forward? And the second one, you hear me out on that. As there are other prominent leaders or speakers in the conscious community that I'm aware of that you do not associate yourself with. However, I do believe that a lot of them do have elements that can help us push forward in this in the agenda. Working with others like
Nah. No name dropping on my shows. Don't name drop. Nah.
Drop the name.
Don't name no Umar haters. I don't play that. Don't name no haters on here. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Good question, my brother. By the way, good question. Okay. I always say that the more we become sincere in this struggle, the less ideology will matter. If you are an integrationist and I am a Pan-Africanist, someone else is a socialist, someone else is a religious nationalist, even though we differ, if we are all serious about the liberation of African people, we will be able to work together across ideological lines. So I'm saying that to say that if there's a brother or sister who is sincere about African liberation, I can work with them across ideological lines. And I do work with brothers and sisters all the time across ideological lines. That's not a problem. My problem, though, is a lot of you assume that just because somebody talks black talk, just because somebody has a YouTube platform, just because somebody hustles cultural merchandise, that they are serious about the liberation struggle. You mentioned two words. You said leaders and speakers. Since when does a speaker become a leader? And if you're expecting Dr. Umar Johnson to unite with a Negro who tells black men they should date black women with white mothers, or tell us it's okay to date interracially, or makes fun about the skin tone of certain Africans, or brags about how much they want to sex up a white girl, if you're telling me that they have something good that I need to unite with, then I'm going to have to question your sanity, brother, because I don't get down like that. And I think we need to raise our political IQ, because we have this mindset that says everybody with a YouTube page talking black talk are serious about liberating black people. And I totally disagree with you. I would argue that 90% of the so-called black conscious YouTube personalities are opportunists, con artists, hustlers, and attention addicts. Opportunists, con artists, hustlers, and attention addicts who sit on YouTube all day long gossiping about almost nothing so they can get your attention and get some YouTube dollars. That's all it is. They not building no institutions. They not nation building. I should not be the only personality in black consciousness who has acquired an institution. I am not the only person who should have an institution. I'm one of the last ones on the international circuit, and I'm the first one to an institution of those of us under 50 years old. That's not acceptable, brother. Stop calling YouTube people leaders. It's an insult to every real black leader we've ever had.
Let's go back to the phone line. We got Los Angeles on the line. Los Angeles, good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller from Atlanta. Los Angeles.
I know you tried to call a couple of times, but for some reason.
Okay, we're going to go back down to Cowtown, Texas. Texas is back on the line. Good evening, Texas. Welcome.
Yo, if y'all want, we could go an hour over unless y'all got somebody else. It's up to y'all.
We'll see how much more time we can squeeze.
Okay, it's up to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, Umar, how you doing?
Where you
Peace
calling
and
from,
love.
brother?
Yes, sir. Calling from Dallas.
Okay, Dallas. Okay, welcome. Question or comment?
I just speak on the Pan-Africanism or how you feel about all this. So I just want to ask, you don't believe that the reparations, if they do give it back, I don't believe they will, but I just say if they do, that it shouldn't just go to black Americans, the ones that was here.
Okay.
It should go to the ones, the immigrants that came over here and, you know, and put their families up over here. It should go to all the black people over here or the black Americans that was able to make it happen for the other immigrants, black immigrants to come over here and everything. Like,
Okay. I hear the question. Let me answer it.
Thank you, brother.
Reparations is very important to many Pan-Africanists, including myself, and we will get it. But if we get it, depends on how we approach it. Last time I checked, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and I am a student of history, but the last time I checked, there was one African slave trade. I'm almost certain that there was one African slave trade that took some of us to the Caribbean, and took some of us to Europe, and took some of us to America. I'm almost certain that there was one African slave trade. So if there was one African slave trade, there should be one reparations movement. The worst thing we can do is let white supremacy off the hook by dividing the reparations movement into parts. It needs to be one international, coordinated, and consolidated movement. There was no Caribbean slave trade, American slave trade, British slave trade. It was one slave trade, which was largely controlled by the British, and they owned more than half of all Africans enslaved. So if most of us was under one slave owner, If most of us was under one slave owner, why in the hell do we want to separate from other victims of the same slavery? I'll tell you why. Because there's an African American arrogance and an African American elitism and an African American selfishness that says, I want my 40 acres and a mule, but I could give a damn if the other Africans in the world get theirs. United we stand, divided we fall. We get paid together or not at all.
I was like, I heard a beat.
Like,
Heard a
you
beat.
beat there, brother. Any more callers?
No, that's it.
That's it for the evening. No more callers. Now, the program that you're having on a Thursday, what Thursday is that again?
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
28th, last day of Black History Month.
Okay. Are people able to go visit the building if they wanted to go visit?
There will be opportunities for that once we start restoring the building. Remember, we got to get a certificate of occupancy from L&I. So, but there will be some limited opportunities for that. But I don't just want people showing up haphazardly. No.
Did you post any pictures up? I know
Of course.
you did a video. Okay.
There's 2 videos and multiple pictures. All the pictures are up there on my Facebook, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, and Twitter and Instagram at Dr. Umar Johnson.
What's your last comments?
My last comment is I need everybody to donate. Please donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. If you need the information, text me 215-989-9858. Send them resumes in, FDMG, resumes@gmail.com. Ladies, don't forget, although it's an all-male school, we will have female staff and female teachers as well because we believe in respecting the balance of Ma'at, divine masculine and divine feminine energy. But you must be happy to be nappy. No perms, no weaves. I'm not playing. No hair color in my school. You don't have to be natural now. You can send in your resume now with your purple hair. But cut that thing. But when you show up for work, you got to be natural. It's a happy to be nappy institution.
No color in there.
No color. Unless it's an African color. It better be dark brown or black or henna, whatever. But you ain't working in my school with no blonde hair talking about you unapologetically African. You are unapologetically Negro.
So I can put my application in finally.
Yes, ma'am. You natural. And it looks good, Queen. And it looks good.
No
I
perms.
just made it. It's not a burn. Look. This
I know that.
berry juice right here.
No, it's beautiful. Beautiful, sister. Beautiful.
You know, a lot of people been coming at you, man. They've been attacking you, and you know, I seen that same video that you're talking about.
Let me say this as a lead into what you're about to say.
Okay.
I was on an interview yesterday, Cleveland, Ohio, and the sisters asked me questions, and she said that there's been a lot of people speaking negatively against you in the school campaign, and there's some people who believe you should not respond to it, right? Well, let me say this. I've been organizing for over 20 years. I've been international for 9. Rarely do I respond to the hate. I've only had 4 beefs within the conscious movement. Okay? And I only responded to them guys because they needed to be checked. You understand? But I don't normally respond to the hate, but I do want to say this though. Dr. King once said, the world is in greater peril, not from those who do wrong, but from those who watch it and don't do anything about it. For what I do for our people, and I'm the only one who does what I do in the conscious community and out, I should never have to take on haters at all. You understand? This should be the black community. Whenever somebody tries to disrespect Dr. Umar, the black community should neutralize them automatically by virtue of who I am and what I'm trying to do. The only reason why the hate is as great as it is because we love negativity and we pay attention to it. If the black community did its job, I would never have to respond to none of that nonsense.
Well, you're doing a good job, brother. I mean, I seen the video.
Oh no, I'm in a good space, man.
And you should be.
I've been blessed. I'm in a good space, man.
Hard for this, and,
I'm in a good space.
you know, your hard work is paying off.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Somebody just said, can you give out your email?
Email address, personal email, DRUMAR Johnson at yahoo.com. DRUMAR Johnson at yahoo.com. Phone number, you can text me 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Please stop texting me talking about can you get a job? It ain't that type of party. No, I'm serious about this. I don't care if you family. I don't care if you friends. I don't care if you coworkers. I'm choosing the best people for our boys. I have been in education for 20 years, and I've seen too many teachers who should not have had jobs. And they had jobs because of a personal relationship with the principal, personal relationship with the superintendent. Nobody will be in my school, not even family, because of a personal relationship. You will be there because you deserve to be there. FDMG, RBG, let's get it.
Get my t-shirt.
I got the hoodie.
My hoodie,
I
man.
got the hoodie. I got you.
I need that.
I got you.
I really need that hoodie, man. Well, as always, man, it's been a
Yes,
pleasure,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
It's been a pleasure to have you here, and I know that you and I are talking about having a program in the very near future. I know
Yes,
you're talking
sir.
about spring. I got a location for us.
Okay.
I got a location. I'm just waiting for you so I can pull the trigger and lock it down. We don't have no problem get it. It's a very nice building. It's a high school right here in South Philly. It's state of the art, man. We can do it. I'm just waiting on you to.
Yes, sir. I want to release the
we
book.
can do it.
I'm
People
working
are
on
asking
it.
about the book. And
Yeah,
somebody
Black
just
Parent
online-
Advocate. That should be ready shortly.
Somebody wants to donate something. They just posted something on Facebook Live. They said, "How can they donate to you for your cause for the school?" They still want to get it.
I ain't memorized that.
Okay, well, we still live on Facebook.
9634 Wilmington, Delaware. P.O. Box 9634 Wilmington, Delaware. P.O. Box 9634 Wilmington, Delaware 19809. 19809. I got to memorize that. But if you accidentally send it to the Philadelphia P.O. Box, we still get it.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm still going to keep my Philadelphia P.O. Box as well.
It's always a privilege, man. To have
Yes,
you
sir.
here.
Black Power.
God willing, we will see
North
you.
Philly, what up? West Philly, South Philly, Germantown, Mount Airy, East Oak Lane, Southwest, South Side, Darby, Yaden, the whole Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Allentown, you feel me? Jersey, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, Cali, San Diego, Phoenix, Milwaukee, what up? Newark, Brick City, Camden, what up? DC.
When are you coming to Newark? Somebody just said, when are you coming to Newark?
I need a building. I need a venue that can hold 400 for Newark. So, okay, real quick. Newark, I need a venue. Oakland, California. The only reason why y'all ain't seen me back in Oakland, I haven't forgotten about Oakland. Y'all won't find no building for me. Where else? Los Angeles, we looking for a building. I got a building in San Diego. We need Oakland. We need LA. We need Milwaukee, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida. Those are the main places I'm looking at right now, but we need
Where do you
venues.
write the check out to?
FDMG Academy.
FDMG Academy.
FDMG Academy. Check to FDMG Academy.
Okay.
Do not send school donations to my Cash App. My Cash App is for business and personal donation to me. School donations are not electronic. Check or money order only.
Keep it separate.
Separate.
Keep it separate.
Separate. We not playing them games. Separate.
Well, that's it, family. Hopefully
Black
by
Power.
the next time I see this brother, it won't be time for hoodies anymore. It'll be a short sleeve.
It'll be the springtime. FDMG, we got it. Team Pan-African, gangster Garveyism, Africans of the diaspora, organized for success.
He coming. That's it, everybody. God
One
willing, we'll
love.
see you next week. I want you to tune in this coming Thursday at 7 o'clock for the Joy and Troy show. And what's the topic that you guys are talking about?
Joe, what's the topic?
Well, we're gonna go deep this Thursday. We're gonna ask for singles and couples to call in and talk to us about what it is